Hello, hello. Welcome to Tuesday night Stitch and Crime Book Club. Hey, everybody. We have people here already tonight, ready for this. That is awesome. Annie was early, got distracted by shiny objects. Annie, I don't really think that you were as early as Joan. She was 24 hours early yesterday. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Adele. Adele, I hope you're staying cool. We are feeling the heat here in Texas, let me just tell you. Hi, Mary. We have two Marys. I thought I saw another one. We have Mary Webb and we have Mary Torres. Glad to see you both. And we have Kathy G. Come on in. Oh, I was missing some. Okay, and Laura's here. Good to see you. Yeah, hot. It is hot. However, if you know me, it's never too hot for coffee. If I was working outside, it might be. Might be. I washed my Montana mug, but I couldn't find it. I don't know where. I think it's still in the kitchen where I was washing dishes. Hello, Deb. One more whip. She is here. Good to see you. Frozen is here. Oh, yeah. 107. Yep, that's what we are. I know. Hey, I'm in here where there's air conditioning. Therefore, I can have coffee. Sharon Creates is here. Yay. Yeah, I didn't get any cold coffee made. I really need to start making iced coffee. That's what I need to start doing. What's that? Oh, she's saying hi to Joan, I think. Lorna McKenzie, good to see ya. Love that. Rainbow, rainbow, rainbow. Nice. So, what are you guys sipping and what are you guys making? Let me bring in my hands since I do have the camera ready to go. I have started something new for my Something Corny Mal. And I don't know about you guys, but Joan's Corny Mal entry has got to take the cake, doesn't it? Has everyone seen Joan's Corny Mal make something Corny Mal that she put in? Oh my gosh. It's actual corn. She made the Bag O' Day corn with the tassels on them. Super cute. I'm not making anything that cute. What I'm making is I am still working on Oliver's cape, but I've started on Solomon's cape. And it is in the color it's the Yarn Bee Soft Secret and it's the color butter. Making three in glasses on row 61. Oh, that you're all set. You did it early. Is Joyce here? Hi, Joyce. Oh, little cowl for a little girl. Awesome. What was Joyce working on? Oh, dinner for the fur babies. Okay. You guys must have come in from your walk. Welcome back, Annie. I don't know what that means. Rosie's drinking iced tea. Awesome. I hope your knee, y'all, little hugs for Rosie because her knees are bothering her. Have you been to the doctor yet, hun? She's supposed to be going to see what they're going to do. I don't know if she's going to have surgery, whether she's going to have the shots. I bet you're going to have the shots, Rosie. That's what I'm thinking. But my thoughts are with you because I know that can be very painful, that knee pain. I've only done 2 rows. I need to do 8. Now the pattern for the regular size cape calls for a chain of 81. Since this is for Solomon and he's smaller, I chained 61, which means I have 60 stitches. A cowl with Amanda, Sam, and Rebecca. Okay. Okay, so, oh, thank you. So that one is for a cowl. Okay. I think, okay, yeah, where's we're at. It's a chain 2, and then you do half double crochets all the way across. Hey, Viviana. Good to see you tonight. I'm glad you came in. She is all the way from Paraguay. Wow. What time is it in Paraguay? What time of day is it there, Viviana? So glad to have you. Thank you for coming in. Hi, Margaret. Glad you're here. Your first check tomorrow. Well, we know it's going to be really, really good because you are doing so well, Annie. Sharon said it's a Walmart brand and it's the powder packets. Okay. All right. 2007. So for those of you that don't know military time or European time, sometimes it's called European, but it's actually military. It is 8:07. Awesome. Thank you. That's amazing. We are not too far off then. Hey, Sandy. Welcome in. So glad you are here. I hope you are feeling well tonight. For all of you that are not feeling well, I'm not feeling all the greatest either. I'm going to tell you though, it was self-inflicted. I was trying to get that front room ready to paint. We haven't started yet. We're going to. Serbs is on the bone. Y'all can't tell. Serbs is on the bone. But we've been clearing stuff out of there and moving furniture out so we can start. And Mr. Fiber is going to help me with it. But I moved a chair and I lifted it up and over the couch and over onto an empty spot on the other side of the couch and tweaked my back. Yeah, that is not feeling too good. Oh, you're going to do fine, Annie. You've done so good. So good. Allergies going crazy and took an allergy pill. Ugh, I feel your pain, Sandy. Mine have actually settled down. I think that that Nasacort is really working. Really, I think it's starting to really help me. Tonight we are going to be doing all the way through part 2 of the book A Serial Killer's Daughter by Carrie Rawson. Carrie is the daughter of BTK, who is known as the BTK killer, which stands for Bind, Torture, Kill. And that is what we're going to be talking about tonight, is the book all the way up through part 2. And then the next time we meet, I believe that we're going to do parts 3 and 4. I don't know that we're going to get all the way through to part 5. So we'll do all the way through part 3 and part 4. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm. I haven't heard from the Al, the ENT doctor yet, so I do have a line on one that I may be going to check out though. Oh, good. So she's going to check it out. Let me tell you, Sharon, when she gets through some of these parts that she's going to read, I think will help her, especially in this second chapter. It's quite a story of endurance, and you know what I'm saying? It's like my feeling on this book and Carrie herself is that she really showed resilience. She's showing quite an attitude of compassion for other people, and it messed with her. But she endured and she got through it, and now she's here to tell us her story. And it's amazing that she is the way that she does this is very, oh gosh, very enduring, very enduring. Finished it, gave it to your daughter, finished it, and it was touching. The ending reminding of things. Yeah. Yep. So let me get through. I'm gonna walk you through where we stopped, which I think was somewhere in towards the end of the we weren't to the end of the first section of the book yet. We're in 1991 now, and it was after the murder of Dolores Davis. Um, by now, Dennis Rader is a Park City compliance officer. He's wearing a uniform now. Um, and Carrie, at this point, was talking about the irony of her in her father's life. The fact that he was trying so hard to be a family man and a good person, and then on the other hand, he was taking families away from their mothers, and it was just really hard. And the next part of this talks a lot about. Oh, excuse you, Bubby. You all right? Okay. Okay. We are on that bone a little too hard over there. Let's just slow down a little, okay? He hears me. Hi, Maribel. Glad to see you. Oh, we're infecting others, aren't we? So the next part, as I was telling you when we left out last time, was that she started to talk about Woodland Park, Colorado, and that is so interesting to me. I guess just that because this is more of the southern part of the world, and me going up to Colorado and me going to, it's just I've been to a lot of these places that they talk about in the book, and a lot of the places that she talks about going with her family and all of those things. And she said they used to camp in the Rockies, and they went with the kids, the grandkids actually went with the grandparents on a camping trip to Woodland Park, and um, the grandparents stayed after the grandkids after the parents came and got the grandkids. The grandparents stayed And her grandfather wound up getting sick while in Colorado Springs. And that's where he was diagnosed with leukemia. And of course, like I said, this is in 1991. And they began all of their visits, they began to visit him at the cancer wing at St. Francis Cancer Wing. And she talked a lot about how her grandfather and her father, where they would go up and they would visit the grandfather, and he had a lot of like westerns and other kinds of books around. And it was interesting to me where she talks about being her grandfather and her father both being lovers of books. Are you a Floozie gal? Good deal. I know Serbs is over here just hacking it up over here. I don't know. I'll turn it on the air, Bubby. I hope that's not too loud, you guys. I'm turning the air conditioner on over here. It's getting too stuffy. Then we go forward to 1995, where she talks about their first Grand Canyon trip and how they drove through Dalhart. On their way, they went through Dalhart, and which I don't know if y'all know, Dalhart, Texas. That's pretty well halfway for me between here and Colorado Springs. Dumas, Dalhart, yeah, right in there. And then they go through New Mexico. And then Carrie is still in high school at this point, and she's very athletic, very outgoing, very athletic. They had CB radio at that time, and I don't I told y'all my daddy was a truck driver, right? And he had a CB radio. And do y'all know what any guesses as to what my handle was on the CB radio? Now my daddy's, his was Diesel Donkey. And he would get on the radio, and the way that he would come out on the radio was he would get on there and go, "Ee-aw." My sister, who I don't talk about a whole lot, she's older than me. We don't really talk. She had a CB later on, and she took the handle of Diesel Donkey's daughter. Temperature is, I think it's 106 right now, Sandy. But can you guess? Can anybody guess what it's 105? 105 out. Can anybody guess what my handle was? Anybody have any guesses on the CB radio? Put it in the chat if you do. Let me see what your guesses are. So they would ride across the country. They had the CB radio. They were doing lots of hiking and lots of camping as family. This was a huge thing for all of them except for the mom. The mom, she camped, but she didn't hike. And she didn't really like the camping per se, but she would go on the trips with them, and then she would stay in a motel. No, but that used to be a nickname of mine. Jilly Bean was one of my nicknames. One of my uncles used to call me Jilly Bean. Nope, wasn't Blossom, because that was before Mr. Fiber. Mr. Fiber started calling me Blossom. Hi, Patricia. Good to see you. Glad you came in. Teal Geel. Nope, that's not it either. You were Cookie Monster? That's funny. Nope, the teal and the sloss and the blossom and all of that, that all came later. I was Tinkerbell. Mm-hmm. Tinkerbell. That was me. That was my handle. So in 1996 is when Carrie's cousin Michelle died in a car accident, and this was a huge, huge event in her life. This incident hurt her so badly, and it hurt her family very badly. And she tells us how deeply she felt that grief. Um, she grieved so deeply that, you know, it messed with her for many years, many, many years. And she talks about how painful that grief was for her. And when she found out about her dad and what he had done and all of the families that he had hurt, she said that she grieved as deeply for her father's victims and families as when she grieved with her cousin. Just as deeply. The thought, having felt that pain so badly, the thought of other that her dad had taken other people's families, it it that grieved her. I thought that was really something for her to say that. I has anyone? I know that several of you. I'm not even going to go into it because I know that several of you have lost family members. You've lost children. You've lost parents. A lot of us by now have lost parents. You've lost cousins. You've lost uncles and aunts and friends, and we've all lost people. So, and it's hard. I do remember as a child, though, I had a friend, and when we lived in Nevada, she was my best friend, Angela, and we used to go horseback riding together. She lived right behind me. I talked about Angela on one of my sit and chats. Well, Angela passed away in a car accident, and we had moved to California by then, and I got a letter. I had been writing to Angela, and I got a letter from Angela's parents telling me about how she had passed away in this car accident, and her mother and her brother had gotten hurt really, really badly, and they survived. They got over all of their injuries, and I actually went back and got to visit with them. I had gone back to Nevada, and I got to go visit. They were Seventh Day Adventists, and they had a dairy, and I used to milk cows and all kinds of stuff, with them. And sure, I could understand that too. Absolutely, Sharon. Bashful. No, that's funny. Joan was known as bashful. I find that hard to believe, Joan. Just saying. Not that you're like crazy out there, but wow. Bashful just doesn't seem to fit right now to me. It is absolutely hard to lose them. But I'm comparing my loss of Angela to what she was feeling as losing as a cousin, because she was still in high school when that happened. And when you lose a friend or a family member like that, when you are that age, it's difficult. It can really mark you, and you always remember things around that time of your life. Um, it's really something how it what it does to you. So Carrie goes off to college, and she's decided she wants to become a veterinarian. She takes on a full load at school, and finds out later that that was probably not the best thing to do. She moves into the dorms, she gets her schedule, she gets all ready and all situated at school, and then she goes back home for the weekend because they're supposed to have Michelle, her cousin Michelle's memorial. And at what that evening after she gets back home was a very significant thing that happened. Her father, Dennis Rader, BTK, becomes enraged, and he attacks her brother Brian. And they had had a lot of issues with her father where they would walk on eggshells all the time with him because he would kind of get irate, and her mother would say, we just need to leave him alone and give him some time. He's just stressed out. There was a lot of that went on in their lives as they were growing up. But this is the first time that she can remember when her dad got really, really physical with anybody in the family. And he puts him against the wall and puts his hands around his neck and is screaming at him. He has pounded his hands against the table, and everything on the table it was spaghetti and stuff like that. And everything had gone all over and everything was broken. And afterwards, he tries to say he's sorry. He says, let me help you clean all this up and everything. And the mother says, no, you need to go and you need to relax and calm down, and I will take care of this. She didn't even let him clean up. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry is the first thing they always say. Exactly. So Carrie begins somewhere in here. She starts to talk about depression, but she has not realized yet that what she has is depression. Okay. But she starts to talk about it. And in her own way, she begins to talk about the loss of her cousin and how big of a hole that was in her life. Um, she threw herself into her schoolwork and other things and other activities, and when she wasn't overachieving, throwing herself fully into everything, like taking on a full load, then she was sleeping. She'd spent hours and hours sleeping, which we know is an indication of can be an indication of depression. She talks about struggling with her faith. She talks about guilting herself because of her pain, because it was actually the pain of the loss. She guilted herself into, you know, her feelings around her faith. She began to gain some benefit from immersing herself in her Bible and in prayer. And then finally, at one point, finally having a breakdown. A breakdown to the point where she had been talking to a friend We'll get to that. It comes a little bit later. Now, Dennis would go and he would pick Carrie up from college. And this became a thing with them where he would come and get her and they drive across the country and take her back home. And they had, they were talking and they would spend lots of time joking and all kinds of stuff, you know. They would look at the nature around them. They would look at the animals that they would see. And here's another thing I found quite interesting, where they would see barns and silos. And she and her mom had a joke that would be a retirement home for him because he talked so much about old barns and silos. And they said, yep, you'll retire and you'll live in one of those silos. Well, he talks about wanting to rig a silo for torture in his writings when he was writing to that journalist. And he talks about this later, that he has interviews where he talks about it later on too. Yeah, I kept thinking that same thing, Annie. I kept thinking that very same thing, is that she was so much stronger than she knew. Yeah. Hi, Bree. Just got your power back. Oh, you guys had storms. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you got your power back. So glad. I know Joan was having power issues, and I mean, and this is mid-June. I mean, this is usually you're past some of this weather stuff, but it's crazy. This weather around the country is just crazy. I'm so glad it didn't last too long. So glad. So now we're leading up to, okay, so Carrie has gone to school and all of that. Her dad comes and gets her to bring her back for Thanksgiving break. And everything was really good at Thanksgiving with her grandpa, with the whole family. He seemed to be doing well. He was strong enough to go and spend time where they all got together for a family meal, and they all ate and talked and just had a great time. And then it turned to Christmas, and her grandfather was way too sick to be there for Christmas dinner and was in intensive care. And her grandmother could not be there. They went to a Christmas vigil at church, and the grandmother could not go because she was sitting with the grandfather at intensive care. And how ironic, to me, how ironic. They had candlelight services for Christmas, and here was Dennis participating in the ceremonies of this candlelight where they're lighting candles, and even just the irony of him going to church with all the things that he did. And that was a Christmas Eve service thing. 2 days after Christmas Eve, 2 days later, she gets the news by phone call. She was wrapped in a crochet blanket that her grandmother had made. This hug, this blanket, this hug around her that her grandmother had made, and here she gets this phone call that her grandfather dies. And another irony, because he's just full of ironies, this man. Another irony where he wept over his dad's body in the hospital. when he died, wept over his body. And her mother actually said something like, I think it was the first dead body he's ever seen. Ooh, that's eerie to me to hear her say that. Eerie. Yeah, he was a deacon. That's just so many eerie things. Now we move forward to 1997. She goes back to school, and this depression starts to creep up again. She's had so much happen, and she starts to have things go on, and she and her roommate are like tiptoeing around each other because she's so cranky, and she's sleeping at odd hours, and the from what her roommate's doing, and they're not even really talking. And at one point she thinks that she'll just jump out the window, and she realized that she wasn't high enough up, that she would actually kill herself, that it was just, and that it was really not worth it, that it was a silly thing, but here she was thinking about it. So she had been, again, like I said, she had this friend that she'd been talking to. So she decided to call him and say, I don't know what to do. And he said, you need to go over and talk to them, the resource center at the school, and they will decide, where you need to go. And so she wound up getting help that way through the resource center at the campus. And she began therapy. And it took something like 8 months of this therapy before she really began to dig herself out. So, yep. I know, isn't it crazy? It's always kind of been crazy to me that he was even involved with the church. Now, that was somewhere around January. We move forward to May of 1997, and they do the Grand Canyon again. Except this time, it was Carrie, her dad, and her cousin. And her brother went with them, but her brother got sick. And while listening to her recollection of this hike, this is what I got out of it anyway. But listening to her recollection of how they did this hike, and there's a lot, this goes on and on, this hike. It's really, really detailed and really, really in depth about what they went through on this hike. It was the most difficult trail they could have taken. And it struck me that Dennis was possibly, and I don't know, and she doesn't say this, but I'm wondering if in some way he was conducting some type of a sadistic experiment with his daughter and family on this trip, just to see what they could take. If maybe he planned for them to take that most difficult trail. Hi, Terry. Yeah. Yeah. He also helped with the son's Boy Scout troop. Sure did. He was that guy. Did you guys get that out of it too? Did any of you have those thoughts about this, that he was just conducting an experiment, because this was in a way some torture on this trip. It was rigorous. Yes, it was. It's a very rigorous trail. That's a good word, rigorous. Her brother Brian, at the start of the trip, he has an upset stomach, so he stayed behind and he didn't leave for another day later. So he doesn't actually leave with her and her cousin and her dad. And she describes 4 harrowing days of hiking. The mountain is a constant heated rock because of when they went, which was later than their first trip, was 2 months after that, and it was definitely a lot hotter. The ledges were really close, and at one point she had thoughts again. All of this negativity and all of this pain came back, and she had thoughts of jumping off of this ledge. And her dad is actually the one that brought her back off of that and said, "Hey, you're getting a little close there. Come on, let's step back." Probably not realizing what was going on in her head. Or did he? And she talks about how she and her dad did this throughout this trip, how he would encourage her to go forward. Then at one point he has this like almost like meltdown, and she encourages him and gets him back into it again too. They coax each other through it. Yeah. Push and push and push. Yes. Hi, Lori. Glad you came by. You wondered if, I don't know. I don't know whether he's talked about that. I've not seen it in anything, whether he's ever talked about it, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Uh-huh. But then again, he wanted to have this normal life, right? He wasn't hurting his family per se. He would get angry, but he hadn't actually hurt any of his family that we know of. It was other people he was hurting instead of his family. I feel like it was that. I feel like it was all mental stuff that he was playing around with. He was playing around with the mental side of, well, how much can someone take? You know? That's where I was going with it. That's what I was thinking. So, um, finally, the 5th morning, she hears her brother's voice calling out for help. And he had hiked nearly nonstop to catch up with them. He was almost dehydrated. His eyes were almost nearly sunburned. He couldn't hardly see. Um, she felt that she had in some way made a deal with God, because she had asked that he, at her low point on this trip, that he would, make sure they all made it safely, and that, you know, if he did, she'd pick up her faith again. And they climbed and hiked a total of 30 miles from where they started to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. 30 miles. And through it all, she did come out with a much stronger resolve. She had it was like this big accomplishment that she had done, that she had made it, that she herself had accomplished something really, really amazing through this thing. And she found an even greater love for nature and the beauty of the world outside, and this expanse that most people don't, take the time to go and hike through and see. Maybe, maybe could be that. Yeah. See, you guys are kind of on the same wavelength as I was on that. You guys have, okay, so that's all the way caught up through to chapter 2. You guys have any other thoughts? I did get something in mail today if you guys want to see what I got. because I can't wait to open it. Oh, so again, I want us to do, let me check here again, but I want us to do chapter 3. Um, sorry, part 3, 3, 4, and 5. Let's do part 3, 4, and 5 for 2 weeks from today. 3, 4, and 5 is what we'll do, and that will leave us with 2 parts coming into the next time. Especially since some of you have already finished the book. What's in the box? What's in the box? What is it? What you got? Got paper. It's not yarn. It's not yarn. It's paper. Can y'all tell what it is? Do I know what it is? Hold on, I got to put it together. Oh, I see. Okay. I already have a prize package already set for book club, okay, with a golden theme. It's a really nice set of yarn. However, I think it would be fun to pull a name for this guy. Look at this happy face. Oh, he is so cute. Now, there's a tree for him. Let me get him on there. Now, the tree is mine. It's cute and creepy, right? I know. It's perfect for the something golden, right? Oh my gosh, how cute is he though? Look. Look, he's hanging from the tree. So he's going to be a giveaway. This guy is. But mine, the minute I saw this, I was like, why did you not say something, Amber? But she finished these after I got the dragon and stuff. Here's mine. Now, I don't know why, but in this color, he doesn't look as creepy, right? It's actually, it is teal, but this is like that cerulean blue that I like. I love cerulean blue. Cute. He's so cute. There we go. Isn't he adorable? So that's what I got in the box. This tree kind of like is a, this kind of reminds me of like a Disney, like a Disney tree, you know, like Corilla Deville kind of thing. It's a very cool tree. And it comes two pieces. So it's like that. And then you put this piece on it. It goes right. There's like a hole. Right there. He's ugly cute, isn't he? He is. He's ugly cute. I like him. Come on. Hang out with me. There, he can hang out with me. Oh my gosh. Too funny. He is interesting. I like him. I kind of wish he had a little flatter butt, but I guess that's his tail. He's just hanging out. Yeah, he's just hanging out. It does look like an enchanted tree, doesn't it? It does. Okay. So what are you reading, Joan? Joan said she was reading something. Midway through Nightmare in Wichita, The Hunt for BTK. And it goes deep into how they catch him. Ooh. Is anybody else reading any other part of Your Daughter Loves It? Oh, Puppets on a String. I know it does. Is anybody reading Confessions of a Serial Killer? That's the next book. Or there's one called Bind, Torture, Kill. And I think you can get that at your library. And then what is this that you're talking about, Joan? What did you say? Nightmare in Wichita? Nightmare in Wichita. Let me see if is that on Libby? Nightmare in Wichita. Nope. It is not on Libby. You got yours on eBay. Okay. I want to see what it looks like. See if I've seen it before. The Hunt for BTK Strangler. Now, see, BTK Strangler is what he was called originally. It is on. It is on Amazon. Looks like it might be a hardback. No Kindle. Well, it says it might be on Kindle. But it's $30. I'll have to check eBay and see. I haven't bought things on eBay in a long time. I have an account. Kind of trippy, huh? Okay, that's what it's called right there. Okay, you guys. Unless y'all have any other questions. Well, that's okay, Bree. Just keep hanging out with us. You finished the Confessions book already. Y'all are fast readers. Plus, I've been busy. And I'm going to be even busier here soon. Like I said, this week, Mr. Fiber and I we are painting the front room, getting ready for Dad and the boys, and it's just going to get busier from here on out. But well, I think you can get the Confessions of a Serial Killer. That's the one that the Ramsland lady wrote. Okay, and that was where she had all of those interviews with him. Oh my gosh! Wow, Annie. Okay, Sandy, you hang in there. Good night. Hey, Sanita. Long time no see. Good you came by. A black and white of my logo. Yes, I can do that. Yeah. Confessions of a Serial Killer is on Libby and on Audible. That's one of the reasons I wanted to read both these two books, because of that. You can get them in those places. And then Bind, Torture, Kill you can get on Libby. And I listened to probably 4 or 5 chapters of Bind, Torture, Kill before I had to turn it back in. But I have Confessions of a Serial Killer. I have that on Audible. I probably should just get it on Audible. I still have some credits left. I'll have to see if I can find it on Audible. Okay, you guys. Good night. Have a great night. Thank you for being here. I got this shirt on Temu, and I have a video coming out. It's a little different video for me, y'all, and I stepped way out of my comfort zone on this one. But I hope that you will enjoy it. Once I get it all the links to everything, I'll have a link to this shirt and all kinds of stuff. So once I get all that done, because there's a lot of stuff to put at the bottom, then I will be posting that video for you guys. It's already uploaded. I just need to get it all situated. So this Friday, I was thinking that we might take a step back to Delphi. What do you all guys think? Should we talk about Delphi Friday and all the new stuff that's been coming out with that? That's kind of what I thought we would do this Friday. His trial was supposed to be in January, but I don't know if he's going to live that long. So, okay, you guys, love y'all. I'm out now. Have a great night and have fun today. Bye, everybody.